Hi, this is Nancy from Bayer's Pampered Stamper, and I thought I'd show you today how to use the Inky Antics cling mount, and it's called a square box template. It would make something like this, a little box that you could hide some candy in. This could be something you would hand a friend, just to make them feel good, just a little idea. And Melissa has one in the store on display, and it's a get well one. But I want to talk a little bit about how do you put this together. So this box is not really confusing, but you have to think about how you use the stamp. This is what the stamp looks like, and it hardly looks like a box. So we're going to do a quick stamp here, and to get the different pieces you need, I'm going to talk about how I chose to do it, and there are videos online also, but I chose to just stamp around the outside with a small stamp pad, a memento, because I might color on it, and not get that centerpiece showing. It really isn't a horrible thing if it shows, but if you, well, I got some on the edge, but when you cut it out, you might not want that to necessarily show. So let me just show you how those pieces, this piece fits into your box pieces. So this is the piece that would be considered the front of the card, where we would put this window. So that would be this piece. So we'll just set this on top because you're going to be cutting out that window. The back piece, I stamped very carefully so you wouldn't get the window. And then this is a piece that is going to be the front cover. And on this one, because it's a two-sided paper, I put a second piece on the inside flap. So you could always do that. If you've accidentally stamped here, you could put just another, a pattern paper or something that would be on the inside. So let's talk about, on the video, they hand cut all of these pieces. That is not for me. I use the paper cutter, but you do want to get the black edge off as much as possible. So I've already done that. And I'm going to actually construct one. And I have some pieces here ready to go. So let me just set stuff aside. And this is going to be a get well one. These are not necessarily get well stamps that Melissa has, because I'm just working from home. So I put some Band-Aids, miscellaneous hit and miss Band-Aids. And I've already pre-cut the centerpiece. So this is the back, this is the flap, and this is the front. So what you need to do, and these dotted lines are really important. So I've cut along the edge of the window, and you're going to fold back that window's edge. And I use a bone folder to make sure I get that edge down really well. You've probably done this kind of thing before. And we're going to just, I use my thumb to make sure I get it along the line. And this last one. We need to make sure that these are adhered down flat. You could use glue. You could use 1/4 inch tape, but I really like this Nuvo glue that Melissa has. She just got a new stock in. So I'm just going to put a little glue line on each side. Adhere down these little flaps. On the website, when you look at some of the different samples or the way people have done it, they've used two-sided tape that they had to cut in half. They've used a variety of things. I just really like this glue, and it takes just a second for it to adhere. Just going to set this over upside down. And while I'm waiting for that to glue, I'm going to go ahead and fold these pieces along the fold line. I'll go back with my bone folder, but this is pretty straightforward. We're making the flaps for the box. We also needed to make a little cut here along this edge. It's the solid line, not the dotted line, so it kind of tells you where they want it. And this is the back of the box. You can kind of see how that'll form. We've got this adhered down, not yet. And we're going to put an acetate frame. I cut this frame 3 inches by 3 inches, and that fits very nicely in the center. You don't want it to be so big that you are overlapping the fold lines. I am going to do just a little Nouveau glue here along the edge. So I don't know who I'm going to send this to. I probably have lots of friends that are getting sick. I hope not, though. And this is something probably you would have to hand or put in some kind of padded envelope. I'm going to just adhere this down here. Put a little weight on it. I'll use this time. No, my stamp. So while I'm getting this done, I also need to do a fold here. So notice I have just an arbitrary background. I am going to put a greeting. I made a small get well greeting, and I had a tiny bit of ink overlay. So I'm going to put that where I had a boo-boo. You know, we've got to do something with it. And this is going to adhere to the box. This way. So I put that on upside down. Glad I caught that while it's still wet. So it's going to go in the box like this. You open up, it says get well soon. There's a little enough space there that you can put a gradient of some sort if you'd like. So I have this adhered down. I'm going to go ahead and get my folds on this side of the box. Reinforce it with a bone folder once I get these done. So I happen to be using just a little bit heavier paper because that is what I happen to have. And there's nothing tricky here. These lines are created specifically so you know where you're going to overlap them. And you're going to face them opposite ways. So one side's going to get some adhesive. It can be score tape, red line tape. You could use your glue. And you want to make sure you get these aligned along the line, because this gives you 1/2 of your box. And then this will go overlap here. So it doesn't really matter which side you put adhesive on. So as you do it, just make sure you've got it folded and overlapped correctly. And you have an opportunity to get that glue down nice and firm. So I've got 2 sides working right now. Get my fingers in here just for a second. So I have this box nearly done. I have a little overlap in the back, but I don't think it's a problem. I could have put a pattern paper in the back or do additional stamping. It doesn't really matter. Right now, either side is the top or bottom of the box. I'm going to make this the bottom. You need to adhere it, particularly if you're putting something in it. Melissa's got some really Melissa's got some really cute sick pills, or pills to make you well. I'm just using my bone folder to make sure I have this bottom adhered well. Which I didn't. Guess I'll press from this side. So you just want to get that bottom edge adhered. And after you get that done, we're going to adhere the side of this greeting. So once again, I have a greeting inside. Oh, I need to make sure this is adhered good. Sorry. Sometimes glue takes longer than you want it to. I'm going to put some glue here, and it's going to go along the side of this box. It'll be just a touch shorter, but that's not a problem. So I have a little glue adhesive here. I'll just hold on to it now. I made a little tissue box. It's a stamp I've had for 100 years, and you just a little tissue to send to a friend. I'm gonna just glue that on. I'm kind of holding the box a little. In the center. I have the little band-aid showing. So I have a little flap here. It says get well. I went to that. And the box can be just closed. And look at this really cool stuff that Melissa got. It's a little get well pills here. Inside there's little strips of paper that you could write little greetings on. It's kind of an interesting idea, and it can go right inside. You wouldn't need to fill the whole box up, you know, maybe send 3 or 4 little pills. I don't know, half a dozen, whatever you want. They can kind of just hang in there. Close the lid, and you could adhere that lid if you wanted, but you wouldn't have to. So how quick and easy. Little pills in there. Write little greetings like get well soon, we're thinking of you, or whatever you would like. So I thought I would just share how quick that is. Once again, it's Inky Annie, called Square Box Template. Melissa and I made these when we were in Phoenix and thought they were really fun. This one, I used a Sizzix bee stamp or die. I used some of the paper from Dare to Be Artsy. It has a whole lot of really cute patterns. I used that. And that Dare to Be Artsy also has some stamps that would go with it. I think that shows up pretty good. So I didn't happen to use any of these. I just used the bee that I thought would look cute. And I put some little candies, chocolate covered candies in here. So I hope you try this. Melissa has these in stock. These little pills are darling. This box is really easy. I know I seem to take a little while to do it, but it's very reasonable, $12.99. And even better, she's got some Nuvo glue back in. So I hope you have a great day and keep crafting.